Welcome back to Alley Chats. I'm Rob Southgate, and today I have two guests on. It's a twofer, but they're involved in the same project. So I guess you guys are like one. None of it is already making sense. I've already crashed into the rocks. Welcome to the show. That's how it normally works. So today I've got with me Josh and Arnon. Guys, introduce yourself. Who wants to go first?
My name is Arnon Shorr. I am the author of the upcoming graphic novel José and the Pirate Captain Toledano. I'm also a filmmaker and a screenwriter. At the moment, I live in Massachusetts, but I was in LA for a long time before that. That's the really short version.
Wow. Okay, that was pretty short. How about you, Josh?
And I'm Josh. Hello. Thanks for having us. So I'm the illustrator of the graphic novel. I'm an artist, a freelance illustrator. I also run a summer camp. I'm the assistant director of Camp Vermont, New England. It's a overnight summer camp in Massachusetts. So I have sort of the two different parts of my lives.
Guys, you've got this new book coming out, José and the Pirate Captain Toledano. Am I saying it correctly?
Yep.
Great. So one thing I found interesting about this, I want to get into what this is, but before we do that, one thing I found interesting was this, to what I can gather, stemmed out of a short film that you made.
That is correct.
So tell me about that a little bit, and then I want to talk about the actual book.
Sure. So back in late 2016, I got it into my head that Jewish pirates are a really cool idea and they should be a movie. And so I wrote a short film, crowdfunded it, filmed it. It premiered in May 2017. It's a 10-minute short, went to 50 festivals around the world, ended up on Amazon and DirecTV. And a lot of people asked, where's the rest of the story? So I came up with an idea for a feature-length version, but a feature-length pirate film is kind of a heavy lift. So I didn't really expect anything to really move forward with that unless other aspects of my career moved forward. But yeah, that's the pirate film. It's a short film about a stowaway on a pirate ship. He's a refugee from the Spanish Inquisition, and he's discovered by the pirates. But before they toss him overboard, the captain of the ship discovers that the stowaway is Jewish. And then the captain has a conversation with him in Ladino. Turns out the captain is also a refugee from the Inquisition, and he's on the high seas prowling after Spanish ships to get a little bit of revenge, a little vigilante justice.
God, I love that. All of that sounds amazing. And Jewish pirates, yeah, I'm already in. So that's all you had to say. So that's really cool. And, one thing I wanted to point out, another project that people might not know we do is we have right now, it's not even a podcast. We tweet out and have a blog for short film reviews, and it's called Short Heads. And one thing that I will say about this is the best short films. There's two great ways they can go. One is it is completely self-contained. It's this wonderful finite experience. It ends and you just feel whole. The other is what you did, which is I watch it and it's like, what? I want more. That's exactly what you have created here. I want to know so much more. I want to see so much more. So that's really cool, Arnon. I just wanted to give you that encouragement and give you an idea on that. Now, is the short film still available on Amazon?
It is. For a while, it was on Prime, but Amazon took it off of Prime after a while. But it's 99 cents to rent. So easy enough to get a hold of.
Yeah, cool. So I'm going to encourage everybody to check it out. If you're not a short film viewer, but you're a listener to the show, guess what? You are probably going to love short films. If you love the stuff we talk about in this show, 99 cents is nothing. It's totally worth it. You'd spend more than that on a comic book, which you're going to do when you buy José and the Pirate Captain Toledano. I will put a link to it in the show notes. Makes it really easy for people so they can click on it and go buy. So once again, I sound like a broken record on this show telling people go buy these books, support the artists, support the writers, support these creators. But come on, man, that's why you listen to this show, because you already are interested in that. Here's another great opportunity. And this is such a cool story. Josh, what's your background? I got Arnon, filmmaker, writer, all this. What's going on with you? You're an artist. I don't need to hear all about the camp counselor thing. I know you're going to be like, Color Wars. Let's talk about that. You're an artist. What's your background?
Yeah, so I've been working as a freelance artist for the last 20 years, doing various illustration projects, all different types, but I've always loved comics, graphic novels. And a couple of years ago, I decided to really try to refocus myself on getting into the comics and graphic novel world. I've had some short stories published, but I always wanted to do a full-length graphic novel. And I had posted already, this is now a couple of years ago, I posted something online, I think on Facebook, about I was in a comics anthology. I had a short story published, and Arnon saw it. And Arnon and I had known each other for years. I'm going to mention this because he had come to the camp. I had brought him on as to run filmmaking programs for the kids, and so we'd had that relationship for a couple of years. But
I had no idea that Josh illustrated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And we just got to talking about, maybe we should do something together. And I think I said to Arnon something like, show me what you got. And Arnon sent me all sorts of stuff, some scripts, some ideas of different projects that he had in his mind. And one of the things that he shared with me was the short film, which I watched and loved. And my reaction was immediately, oh my God, we have to tell the rest of the story.
Yeah, right. We got to get this out there. It's so awesome. Yeah, right.
And then Arnon said, well, it just so happens that I have the rest of the story in my mind. And we went from there.
Yeah, I have to say, looking at the artwork that you guys have shared with me, I love it. It's fantastic. And I love these close-ups you do where you get all the depth, you get all the crags in their faces, and the I'm looking at the one here where he's holding the cup and it's got the Hebrew on it. And it's just like, I mean, you just want to live in that, it just draws you in. I'm sure, Arnon, that was one of the things when you saw his artwork, you were like, yeah, I see how this works for Pirate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that panel was one of the first panels that I drew. That panel right there. That was really our initial pitch to get some representation and to send that out to publishers. That was one of the very first panels. And many of the other original panels did not make it into the final book, but that one did.
It's really fantastic. It's drawing me in. All the artwork on here is really drawing me in. And now, are you doing color and everything on this, or do you have other people doing that?
No, I did the whole, from pencils, ink, the painted watercolor colors. That was all me.
Wow, heavy lifting. It is beautiful. Well done. So you guys have this book coming out. Give me some specs on this book. How long is it? One contained story, or is this an ongoing series?
One story so far. I mean, if it does well, I've got other ideas for how it could continue. But 94 pages?
94 pages.
94. Nice.
Yeah. And I don't know what other specs there are for a book.
That's probably the biggest spec. I thought you were going to say something more. I was going to interrupt you and save you there, but it's funnier that I didn't. So 94 pages. So it's a full graphic novel. You said you might have more stories. I mean, let's face it, the short film did win a bunch of awards. It does have a lot of interest. I imagine this is going to get a lot of interest. So my recommendation is probably be prepared for the next story. I mean, it's great. It's really fun stuff that you've got here. Now, you said that the idea of Jewish pirates was something. Now, that I've never seen that before.
Exactly.
And it makes so much sense, especially the world you're creating. A lot of your stuff, would you consider what you do kind of Jewish centric?
Sometimes.
Okay. I noticed a couple of things and I thought, okay, it seems like you might be loving that culture to use.
Well, I mean, I am Jewish. I'm traditionally observant. So it's the world that I live in.
Sure.
They say, write what you know. So I figured, okay, I'll tap into that. But not everything I write is Jewish. Not every film I've made has Jewish themes or even Jewish characters. I mean, I've got one screenplay that's circulating the industry right now that's set in Mongolia, and it's got dragons in it, and there's nothing Jewish about it at all.
Except Jewish dragons. So that's something that we're going to get to eventually.
Spin off.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, I agree. Like, writing what you know always is the touchstone, but you don't want to get pigeonholed. And I don't see you as pigeonholed. I just wondered if that was your kind of your area that you kind of keep going back to, which is an interesting area. There's so much depth there to work with,
My approach is to use the Judaism as a springboard for universal stories. I think that there's a lot of depth. There's a lot to mine in Jewish folklore and Jewish traditions and Jewish history and Jewish culture. But the key is to find ways to take those and expand them or expound upon them in a way that has resonance beyond the Jewish world.
Yeah.
So, to me, this is a story about being different and about trying to fit in and trying to find a group of people who can relate to you, who you can relate to in a world that's hostile to difference.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that many of us can relate to and can recognize whether we're Jewish or not. And then it's got to be fun.
Right. Well, I love that there's this. I mean, you've got the story of the kid, we'll say, but it's this revenge story of the pirates. That to me is the big hook. Like I want to know. And as soon as you're talking about like, yeah, they're after the Spaniards from the Inquisition because of what they did. I'm like, oh, that's just so rich. I just want to know everything going on there. That's so cool. And that is kind of the backdrop to the story, which is just, once again, it's what's drawing me into this so much. So, okay, we're gonna move past this a little bit, since this show is about like going to Comic-Cons and that. Have you guys been to a lot of Comic-Cons? Have you done, or is it like you're putting this out and you're like, COVID hit, we don't get to go to Comic-Cons?
I come from the movie world, so I've been to film festivals and things like that, but I have done very little on the Comic-Con side of things. This is my first rodeo as far as books go.
Okay.
So for me, when I was younger, I went to a lot of Comic-Cons as a fan, and this is sort of an interesting transition now to have an actual as a professional having the graphic novel.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question that is probably going to be more pertinent to you, Josh, but Arnon, do your best. So this is your dream con. Okay. This is the dream one. No, you guys are in Artist Alley. You are doing your thing, but who is it of all the people that would be in Artist Alley or presenting? Who is your dream? I want to meet him. I want to see him talk.
Ooh, what a great question. I think I might say Art Adams as the artist. I've always loved his work.
Yeah.
He was one of the first artists I remember as a little kid being like, oh, this art is different. This is something special. There's something unique. And he's still only gotten better and better over the years.
Yeah, that's a good one. And you've never met him?
Never, no.
Oh, exciting. How about you, Arnon? Would there be somebody you'd want to meet?
Yes. Well, so for me, in my imagination, the dream con would be probably San Diego Comic-Con because of the way that it interacts with the film industry.
With the film industry, right. And the scope of that. Yes.
Yes. And I know, J.J. Abrams shows up there pretty regularly. Guillermo del Toro shows up there pretty regularly. I think if J.J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg were hanging out, having coffee or something, and I was like, hey, guys, and we got to chatting about how, there's this great universe of Jewish pirates that hasn't been really tapped yet. And wouldn't it make a great show? And, isn't Amblin looking for some more television to do? And I'd love to have that conversation.
And I've found something you might not know about that might be a fun area to play in. Yeah, right. So those are both excellent choices, and they're both unique. I haven't had those on here. I'm the same way as you are. I like the filmmakers, so I would definitely be looking for filmmakers as well. So who is your favorite filmmaker at the moment? I know that's an impossible question.
Well, for me, I was bitten by the Spielberg bug when I was very young, and that has stayed with me over the years. And I was happy that he didn't disappoint with West Side Story. So he's still active. He's still doing stuff, even though he's been around for a really long time. But of the kind of newer batch of filmmakers, I really like Rian Johnson, the guy who did the second two Planet of the Apes films is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yeah, those were phenomenal films. So, Arnon, you're also a producer. Is this something that you produce outside of your own work?
Is what the films that I produce?
Yeah. I see that you're a film producer. Do you film outside of your own work, or I mean, is this
Sometimes.
like another career? Okay.
It really depends on which hat I happen to be wearing. For the last few years, I have not produced as much. I used to do a lot more of that, a lot more of kind of physical production.
Right.
But I've got 3 kids, and at a certain point, it seemed like it would be easier to stay at home and juggle them and write screenplays, and now a book as well, than to be out of the house for 18 hours a day wrangling these scrappy little indie productions.
Sure.
So I haven't really worn the producing hat for a bit, but I still have this skill set, and I expect I'll go back to it once the kids are old enough for me to abandon them a little bit more.
So outside of Toledano, do you have other stories you're looking to convert into graphic novels?
So that's a great question. Josh and I have been sort of exploring that a little bit. Although we got caught up in promoting this book, we haven't really spent too much time on it yet. But I've got other screenplays and treatments and outlines and all sorts of different concepts that could play well on screen. I mean, there's one thing I know, Josh, this is one of your current favorites, but it's a story that recasts the Golem legend in the American West.
Oh my God. You had me at Golem. Now you put him in the American West. It's like that Stephen King one where he did the vampires in the Old West, which I'm like, I couldn't put it down. Love it. That's a great idea. That is a great idea.
Genre blending with some Jewish stuff thrown in.
Well, and the whole Golem thing is so interesting.
Yeah. Arnon is such a visual storyteller that he sent me several of these scripts, and I think they would all work as graphic novels. It's many great options to choose from.
Arnon, I think you might have a super fan working with you. I didn't want to say anything in front of him. He's not listening. That's so cool. Well, that is something that when you get to that point, I definitely want to have you back on. If you kickstart it, I definitely want to have you on Go Fund This. Okay. Where can people find you other than the show notes? I know they're going to be there.
Well, I'm fairly active on Facebook, trying to get more active on Instagram and Twitter. My name is unique enough that if you Google me, I'm easy to find. And ArnonShorr.com is kind of the central clearinghouse of everything. So start there, branch off from there.
Great. And how about you, Josh?
And I'm at JoshuaEdelglass.com or JoshEdelglass.com, and also on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, Josh, I got a question for you. Do you do, and this is a big Artist Alley thing, do you ever do commissions?
I do, yes.
So where can people ask for commissions from you?
Thank you for asking. Also through my website, JoshuaEdelglass.com.
Great. And if you want something produced, you never know. Maybe contact Arnon, see if maybe he's got that producer hat on that he wants to dust off and do this kind of thing. So, okay, guys, thank you so much. This book is going to be fabulous. I know it's going to do really well. José and the Pirate Captain Toledano. I'll put it in the show notes. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it everywhere. I also encourage you to look at bookshop.org because they're independent booksellers, which, hey, man, just like what we're doing here, we want to support that indie scene. And that's one great way to do it. So once I see it hit there, I'll also add Bookshop to the show notes. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you so much, Rob.
So much. This is so fun.
You can find Alley Chats on Facebook by searching for @AlleyChats. You can also visit us at our webpage, smgpods.com/alleychats, for links to all our episodes and other cool stuff. One easy way to support our show is to rate and review Alley Chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those ratings really help us out and help others find our show as well. Alley Chats is produced and edited by Rob Southgate for Southgate Media Group. Be sure to subscribe to Alley Chats because you definitely don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again to our affiliate sponsors, Hunt-A-Killer and Tweaked Audio. Links to them are on our webpage and in the show notes. This wouldn't be possible without them. Our theme song is by Benny and the No Goods. Check out their awesome music at bennyandthenogoods.bandcamp.com. If you're an artist or writer or creative type that would have a table at an artist alley and would like to be on Alley Chats, message us through the Facebook page or email us directly at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com and we'll set up an interview. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show.